Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Let's give people, as always, some minutes to join, and I'll bring up the agenda here.
Hello.
Yeah, okay. Now I'm less confused about the agenda.
Dann das du da gleich. Ja. Also. Hast du Alternativ?
Hi, I created some slides with some of the agenda today. Would you like me to share them and we can start talking through it?
Yeah,
or-
usually we give people 5 minutes, but I think we are otherwise fine to start.
Hast du Meeting?
Thank you.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Oh. Wahnsinn. Jetzt du.
Na, das muss uns vormachen. Okay. I think we could get started.
Du kannst dich mit.
So, Jen, if you want to share.
Okay, by the way, your voice seems to be echoing a little bit.
It should stop echoing right now. So we are back in the office the first day ever, and I'm trying to figure out how that equipment used to work. So sorry for the technical difficulties.
the bottom. Where? Yeah, here. Yeah, can people hear me all right? Yeah, so just give some updates on the work we've been doing and the community around delivery. How do I? Yes. First, just a more formal introduction of the new chairs and tech leads, including myself, Hong Chao, Thomas, and Alex. Probably you've seen us. So just saying hi. It's very good to be here. Would anyone want to say anything? Give it 5 seconds if anyone wants to. No? Okay. Yeah, I'll pass that now then very quickly. The update on the operator white paper. Thomas, would you like to?
Yes, I'm very proud to announce that we finished operator white paper on, I think, Monday. So we merged the last pull request, and currently we are about to get this published in and make a pretty document out of this. So the CNCF and Linux Foundation are working on the document now, and we will get this hopefully a finished version in the next weeks. And I also contacted Amy today that she should remove the operator working group meeting from the calendar, so it won't take place anymore. And we also will dissolve the working group after the publication of the document.
Anyone has any questions? Sad to see the working group go. Can always be relived, right? Potato Head update.
So another update from my side. So I think about 2 or 3 weeks ago, we proposed a potato head for a sandbox. We didn't get any result on this, but I think this will take place in the next 1 or 2 weeks.
Yeah, maybe some words for people who really joined what Potato Head is. Potato Head was a project we created for our KubeCon session last year, I think so, yeah. I created to showcase some app delivery projects, and it was just supposed to be a repo that contains just some examples of app delivery project, but then more people started to contributing. I think right now there's over 10 different tools deploying a simple application that was single tier. Now it's got extended to have support for metrics so that you can validate your deployments already. What's also coming is OpenTelemetry support, and the Litmus team also built a distributed version. So the idea was to have a simple application, like compared to SockShop and some others where the applications are rather heavy. And if you want to test a multi-stage deployment on your local laptop, it gets rather hard and complicated. With Potato Head, it's simple, and you really can focus on the tooling stack that you want to run. And you can easily compare them. Plus, the plan going forward was to also support more complex scenarios like stateful workloads or workloads that require authentication and so forth. And as we have, the project has always been in the CNCF repository simply because we created it there as a working group. But as there is continued interest and people are contributing to it, we wanted to put it into a more standard CNCF context as a more or less learning application. So obviously, if you're willing to contribute, if you have interest, feel free to also provide feedback. I mean, it already exists. We can actually put the link into the slides then as well for everybody.
Yeah, I'll put it. Thank you, Alua and Thomas. Some other updates. The Cooperative Delivery Working Group. Alex.
Yeah, I can take this one. So the initial charter for the working group is near completion. I've addressed almost all the comments that I was able to. So we have missed the window, I believe, presented to the TOC, as that was yesterday. So you know, in the time we have until the next time Alois meets with them, we can revise this. But from, I think, the collective perspective, we're pretty much there. The only thing that was drawing much interaction at the moment is just the examples of that we're providing. So we can iterate on that. But in terms of the life cycle of the working group, I think we're pretty much there and ready to go with this proposal. And so I suppose it's just down to the next steps now.
So are we going to present that to the next TOC?
Yeah, so I'm not sure the actual ceremony involved. If somebody could shed a bit of light, that'd be great. Is it just walking through the charter?
I think we have to look at the charter, and then we will share it with our TOC liaison. If they're good with it, we just then send a note to the TOC, and usually we get the approval from the TOC. But that would be, if we're at the stage where I think it's good to share, we should share it with Cornelia and Harry. Tell them this is what we want to do, so that they're also aware of it, being good citizens, and then we just post it on the TOC mailing list once we have done the final editing. I mean, Liz already knows because I mentioned it in the TOC meeting yesterday. People are, and also made again the competition. If anybody finds a name that everybody likes more than what we have right now, they are more than welcome. But I think the problem is clear. So yeah, I can take this. What we should also do is to get all the other projects and start people to get them signed up. So from other working groups. Also, when I looked at the GitOps working group, usually like having like 50, 60 people who have at least an initial interest is a good sign as well. So share it with the wider community if they're interested to contribute. It's also, I think, super helpful. I didn't look at the latest version, how many interested parties we had, but I think it's not that many that yet were interested there. So a bit more advocacy to other interested projects and other interested parties might make sense as well.
Okay, sounds good. So we can take care of the latter if you can take care of the former.
Yeah.
Okay. Dapper, DAPR update, review update.
I can start there because I was initially involved, and Hong Chao, feel free to also jump in here. We started to look into the review. I also asked the team to present to TAG App Delivery because I think they never really presented, at least I can't remember it. And as nobody else can, I think this really kind of got lost. Yeah, this is ongoing from the reviewing process, but I asked them that they present to TAG App Delivery about the Dapper project. And I haven't heard back from them yet, but I'm trying to get them into the next meeting in 2 weeks from now. Hong Chao, do you want to add anything on Dapper?
Yeah, I think that's mostly what I want to say as well. Yeah, they basically need to present and talk and focus more on the community adoption. Like that's the first step. Yeah.
Is Dapper going for? It's a sandbox?
No, incubation.
Okay.
Just
Yeah,
for my curiosity here, like, so when you give this feedback, do you put this in some specific place where people can take it, or do we give it? Is it in a document? Like, what is the process?
There is a due diligence document, which is which is also public. Let me just quickly find it, so I can share it for interested parties. So the way it usually works is, well, there's the standard due diligence, and the projects fill it out. And then there's obviously more review and more discussion depending on the project. Let me just.
I find it. I find it. Yeah. Yeah. That's a due diligence doc.
Thanks. Thank you.
I mean, it by the way raises an interesting question about SIG app delivery charter per se, because with Dapper, it's not just purely app delivery, it's also almost like an application framework to build applications. And for me, it's also a bit of the question, where do these things or projects like this really fit in? But my proposal is, let's wait for the presentation and ask them questions and where they want to move the project and so forth, and then take it from there.
Is there a presentation upcoming?
I reached out to them. I didn't hear back from them yet, but I hope to get them to present within the next 2 weeks. And as they are obviously interested in moving towards incubation, I assume they will find time. Obviously, we're in the midst of the vacation season right now, and as people start to be able to take vacation, this should work out. But I'll try to get them on the agenda for the next 2 weeks.
It'll be interesting to hear how they position Dapper, because it might be, it's about infrastructure and application coordination. So it might actually fit nicely with the coordinated delivery work group. If
Yeah,
that's what
that's a
might
great
work.
shout.
And yesterday, I'll move on then now to the next topic. Just an update. Alois submitted our KubeCon talk, right, to the TOC yesterday. Anything more than that? Just.
Oh yeah. Go ahead, Alois.
No, go ahead.
Okay, yeah. I also reached out to the Chaos Mesh team. They are really interested in participating in the upstream and especially the chaos engineering of working group. But they asked just wondering what's the status of the working group now, and how could they participate into that later? Because I think there's no working group meeting being set up or something, right?
Yeah, the case one is an interesting one. So I happened to join the observability tag meeting yesterday, and the observability team, the observability tag says they also see them being responsible for chaos engineering. And I think, well, chaos engineering spans a lot of tags. Like for us, obviously, it's part of testing, so it's part of delivery. Observability obviously wants to look into how things are working or not working. Then network chaos mesh obviously gets into the networking space, and then we have security chaos, which gets into the security space. So I think it is a good, it's a good collaboration effort, and now observability wants to join in as well. So this can become a really interesting working group, because right now 4 tags are interested in working on that chaos, on the chaos topic. The other discussion I just briefly had with the tag observability chairs is about who or where chaos projects really belong to. While there is no strong belonging, but officially, if you look at the CNCF landscape, chaos engineering is under observability and not under app delivery. I see this a bit more freely, but I think we should have this discussion. I mean, I think it doesn't really affect who the projects collaborate with, but maybe having the working group and bringing all the interested parties together is really something we should push forward a bit faster. I'm still also reviewing the working group or contributing to the working group doc. So we should really try to move this forward to have the chaos working group, because it's really bringing a lot of people together, and we should have some way of collaborating and also getting it on the calendar. So I think that definitely makes sense. It seems like everybody now starts to be interested in this chaos topic here, which is good.
Is the thing that is the chaos engineering group working group not yet formed, and it depends on Ford, or has it been formed? Sorry.
No, it has not yet been formed. They started to work on a charter document, which I can share here as well.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
which we also need to, again, to approve and get the interested parties involved.
So do we have to approve across the 4 tags, or is it down to we haven't done this before? I guess that's the thing, right? Like,
no, we haven't really. And if you look at the people right now, this is not that many people who are already interested in this. I think this just needs a bit more attention. More currently, it's mostly tag app delivery. So I think it needs a bit more caretaking. But I think, again, we could, over the next 2 weeks, we could get this into a state where I think it's ready to also present to the TOC and to get into working mode.
right. So what we need to do here, like as actions for the tag, would be to collaborate with the charter for its formation.
Yeah.
Maybe speak to the other tags and then so we can present to the TOC.
Yeah, security is already involved via TIA, via Aradna. And most of the other members are tag app delivery right now. So just reaching out to them and trying to get things moving, I think is what we should be working on. It's going to be an interesting activity. This is the first topic where 4 tags are collaborating. I think that's also why Liz was so interested in this. So I think, Jan, we have no other official topics because I would have one more because I invited the for working groups update, the GitOps working group to provide.
Okay. I'll hand it to you.
You want, I can take it. Am I audible?
Sure.
All right. So, well, it's great to meet you all. It's the first time that I joined this tags call. So my name is Leonardo Murillo. I'm based in Costa Rica. I'm with WeForks, and I'm one of the 3 co-chairs of the working group. I don't know, when was the last time that you all received an update from us? So if I'm redundant, please let me know. In terms of ongoing initiatives, we have the GitOpsCon happening as a co-located event on KubeCon NA. There's a couple of things here where we could use support from everybody. The CFP is currently open, and it's going to be closing on the 25th of July. So any kind of promotion that everybody can help out with CFP for GitOpsCon will be appreciated. Likewise with sponsorship. There's been multiple packages defined in terms of sponsorship, so we are looking actively for sponsors. There is a weekly call, which is actually happening today, from the events committee. So we have a committee that is working towards like building what's necessary for evaluating CFPs and organizing everything else that needs to be organized for the event. Any questions around GitOpsCon as a co-located event with KubeCon North America?
I saw you just posted the link also in to the CFP in the chat, so we can share it with the group.
Fantastic, I appreciate that.
By the way, Omar, could you please mute yourself? I think you have some background noise there.
Yeah, sorry.
Thank you, Omar. As far as other progress, so as I'm pretty sure you all know, the GitOps working group is now kind of maintaining, or I'm not going to say maintaining, is the organization, the working group that created the Open GitOps project. There's 2 different things: the working group and the Open GitOps project. The Open GitOps project is something that will last, as opposed to the working group, which is ephemeral. And the Open GitOps project is going to have a website. The website is, I think, already gone through adopting all the feedback that was provided by the community. It was kindly built by the CodeFresh folks, and it will be launched, I hope, within the next less than I hope a couple of weeks. We really want to have that available by the GitOps Con event. And there's also, by the way, a new Slack channel on the CNCF Slack workspace, which is Open GitOps for the Open GitOps project, considering that the working group channels will eventually be eliminated because they will basically live with the working group. And then the other thing that comes to mind is our effort to define the GitOps principles. We created a principles committee, and just to give you all kind of like a sense of the history of how it got there, in the GitOps working group repo, we had an open PR where we were working on the definition of the GitOps principles collaboratively with the community. The dialogue became overwhelming. The PR became gigantic. So we decided to create a principles committee that meets weekly. The version 0.1 of those principles has been, thank you Allah, has been already defined. What we're working towards now is there was a lot of very rich discussion that happened on that original PR on the GitOps working group repo that should be integrated somehow into this new principles document in the documents repo of the Open GitOps project. So that's the focus of the principles committee at this point, basically scanning all the previous collaborations in the previous PR, integrating those into documents of the Open GitOps repository with a focus of getting to version 1.0. And once we have version 1.0, the objective is to basically socialize it to the broader community to start getting corporate buy-in. In other words, we want to kind of like get organizations to say, yes, this makes sense. These are the principles that we agree on, and of course, kind of like fulfill the objective of having this homogeneous understanding of what GitOps is about. We have weekly principles committee meetings as well. They're happening today, by the way, as well as kind of events and principles one after the other. And I think basically that's updates off the top of my head. And any questions, comments, gladly welcome.
Leonardo, yeah, one question. Is it the GitOps Con only happen in, I saw this in EU and also like NA1, but like I think there's also like, is it GitOps Con like a lot, just happening on every KubeCon? Or is it a separate one?
So look, I'm going to answer two questions as I interpret it. One is the first GitOps Con that happened during KubeCon EU. That was not organized, or the CNCF was not involved. And I'm likely using the wrong terminology, but there is the quality of kind of collocated event versus 0-day event or something like that. There's a difference. The first one was completely community organized. This one, actually, the CNCF was involved. In this one, we have sponsorship packages, and it's actually not free. You have to pay to participate in the collocated event. So that's the difference between the EU and the NA versions of GitOps Con as they've been kind of like executed. Whether there is going to be a GitOps Con with every KubeCon, I really wouldn't be able to answer that question. What I can tell you is there is kind of like an expressed desire across the more active members of the GitOps Con working group and GitOps community to kind of increase the dimension of GitOps related events going forward, right? There's a lot of traction and there's a lot of interest. So although there hasn't been any real defined plans as to what that means within the next 12 to say, I don't know, 6 to 12 months, quote unquote, there is a desire to grow the kind of like footprint of events. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, actually I have another question. Yeah, so actually I have a friend who's a CEO of one company called Cooperative, like it's actually doing like CI/CD. They have an open source project called the Dig. Like again, I can share the project later to the forum. But like basically like they are also like trying to do more participating in more open source like community like such conferences. But like they are located in China now, but like they can't travel due to the COVID. I'm wondering, like, is it like virtual or is it have to be physical one?
I think for KubeCon as well as GitHubScon, the whole model is going to be hybrid. To tell you the exact truth, I don't know what that means, right? I don't know if every talk is going to be broadcast live. I don't know if there's going to be, I don't know what the hybrid really will look like, but there is a hybrid or kind of like a virtual version of KubeCon and GitHubScon, but I don't really have the exact details as to how the implementation of that will look like.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, this is Tracy. My understanding is if you are accepted as a speaker for any of it, you will have to attend in person. So I'm guessing that GitOps would be the same way. Any co-located event, and if you are going to attend in person, you have to have proof of vaccination.
Mm-hmm.
But I think all of the talks are going to be, everything is going to be, you're going to have basically two events. And I'm not sure what they're going to do either, if we're going to do the talks in person and they're going to record them and broadcast them. I think that's probably how they're going to do it. I'm not sure though, but I do know that when I submitted, it said I had to be in person.
Is that for KubeCon?
For KubeCon, yeah.
When I submitted, they may have changed that because I submitted at the last minute and there was actually a thing on there that said, would you prefer to speak in person or remotely? And then there was a third option of, I don't know yet, ask me again later.
Really? Yeah, they must have. Maybe they got lots of questions on this topic.
I would imagine they did.
Well, I'm hoping just for the you know, being more democratic, that they always do a hybrid where anybody who wants to speak can do so virtually, right? It opens up the door for so many more people.
Agreed.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Tracy. And
Yeah,
Joe?
I think we should wait also closer to the event to get updates. I think right now in July, it might still be hard to know what October is going to look like. I mean, we all wish the best, obviously, to get there. So let's see what the next months are going to bring. Maybe one more thing about KubeCon. Usually right now, then after KubeCon, what's going to happen, you will see a lot of proposals in different areas, or like a lot of proposals saying that their proposals were not accepted. I was also part of the reviews for OneTrack, and I saw a lot of people who wanted to introduce smaller open source projects and get feedback on smaller open source projects. I think that's also something that where we could actively invite people to present also here as part of a TAG App Delivery and share them. Because there's some interesting projects there. I mean, not talking about the details, which we're not allowed to do as a program committee, but there's like this really interesting open source project that tries something really interesting and new. It's just done by 1 or 2 people as part of a company, and they might have like 3 GitHub stars and maybe not even ever, or just have a version 0.0.1. So nothing you would necessarily accept for KubeCon. But if the project is interesting, some of those projects that I would actively invite here. And I know that SIG Runtime is doing this a lot, so bringing projects to present new ideas. And I think as the SIG, sorry, I'm still saying SIG when I should be saying TAG. As TAG App Delivery, I think we can also use them and share them with the wider community and give these projects also an audience and learn more about them. I think this is something we should take up again. And so if you come across any interesting project that you think this might be interesting, and might get or might deserve some more attention in the app delivery space, either let us as the chairs know or reach out to them and then have them present. We have done some of them in the past. This kind of stopped a bit, but I'd also encourage you to, if you know about any project, or if you know about people, or there's a project that you are using that you think this might be interesting. It's not like widely adopted, but might make sense. Feel free to do so as well. And maybe we also start a list of projects that we are interested in presenting. Like I have a list now of 6 projects that I'd like to see what they're doing in detail. But again, they're like very early stage and not necessarily what you would have for KubeCon immediately. Think of it like as the TAG App Delivery version of KubeCon Rejects. And I think there is some opportunity there for presentations. There's also now a lot of people. This is our tool stack that we were using. But again, at some point, there's so many of those that, you know, not all of them are going to make it, but these are still interesting stories. And yeah, this is just my proposal to then reach out to those people, and where we know this is happening, to also socialize this by social media. If you want to present on this topic and it's app delivery related, also feel free to come to the tag, because there are interesting stories there as well. No, we did not tweet yet about the operator white paper hitting 1.0. Simply because the CNCF has like their own publishing program, and Thomas reached out to them, and it's following their publishing schedule and the work that they're doing, and they also want to do a press release around it. So that's why we did not yet tweet about it, but there will be something. Okay, so seems like we're perfectly on time, unless somebody wants to bring up another topic.
Hi, everyone. This is Karthik. Just wanted to share an update regarding the chaos engineering work group charter. So we have made some progress. I think we did share that in the last meeting. We wanted some more eyes on the charter to formalize the goals and non-goals. And we have received some interest on the Slack channel, and the next step would be to go ahead and meet to decide on the cadence and the other modalities of how we will operate within this work group. So that's the current status there. We've made some more progress on the surveys that we're carrying out for the chaos engineering white paper, which I now believe will be an artifact or an end product of the work group itself. So yeah, I think that's where we are at. I would request the community to take a look at the charter and probably add to the goals and challenges that we have stated there. And we can chat on what's a good time to have the first meeting so that we can decide on how to proceed.
Yeah, I think you, before you arrived, we talked about it as well. Yesterday in the observability tag meeting, observability also now wants to get involved. So it looks like you're becoming super famous, because now 4 tags are interested in this working group. So I think it's not getting everybody involved and on the same page. And from other charters, in my experience, it might make sense to set up a first meeting, maybe as soon as next week, if you think that the charter is ready for an initial discussion. And yeah.
Sure.
I was going to say, having just been doing the cooperative delivery charter, it was really useful to get that early feedback. So I think that would be a good idea.
Sure. Yeah, maybe next next meeting we'll present the charter. Yeah. Thanks, Alois.
Okay, the issue that has been tracking the white paper is also updated with the charter details. So please feel free to take a look at that, and we'll go through it in slightly more detail in our next call. Thank you.
Okay. And Jan, do you want to officially close the meeting for today?
Well, yeah, well, just close it. Well, we are going to, there is the, I guess we got some actions here of like taking a look more of the charter for chaos engineering, also follow up on the advocacy for the charter of the cooperative delivery. There are other things coming up, such as Captain Due Diligence. I took that on. Should have some update by the next meeting. Yeah, thank you very much, everyone, for coming this time, and hope to see you next time.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you, Jen.
Yeah, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
So was? Da går jag med kling, ska det som det är så mycket